So in the National League, looking at the league table, Sutton United and Bromley, well, they're doing pretty well, and there is a danger of them getting promoted. And I say danger because it could be a dangerous situation due to their 3G pitches. Hello, my name is Luke, and in this video we'll be looking at why 3G pitches at Bromley and Sutton might be detrimental to their future. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button to stay up to date and learn more about non-league football and more videos just like this one. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So ever since football was founded back in the mid 1800s, it's been played on grass. But in recent times, there's been teams that have dared to be different. There are 3 3G pitches in the National League. They belong to Bromley, Sutton United and Maidstone United. There are also 4 3G pitches in the second step of non-league. There are 8 in the third step and there are 12 in the fourth step. So a lot of non-league pitches are actually 3G. However, in the Football League, 3G pitches are not allowed, and this is why Sutton and Bromley could be in trouble if they get promoted. They've signed an irreversible agreement, which means that if they get promoted from the National League, then they either have to rip up their pitch or they risk actually being relegated back down to the National League South, which is crazy to me. A team that has got promoted, they're actually going to be penalised and relegated to leagues. It's been a topic of hot debate recently, and in this video we'll be discovering whether 3G pitches should be allowed in the Football League. So yeah, let's get straight into it. So first of all, let's get a definition down for what a 3G pitch actually is. So 3G means third generation, and a 3G pitch is the most significant and successful development in synthetic surface technology designed for football and rugby, both at a competitive and recreational level. So, what are the benefits of a 3G pitch? The first one, in my opinion, the most important one, is that it is a money earner for the football club. The pitch can be used throughout the week. There's no sort of recovery period needed for it. It is a lot more durable and is able to sustain multiple games every week. Now time for the opinion of some of the experts. Oliver Ash is a director at Maidstone United and Paul Doswell is the manager at Sutton United. Here's an interview done with them last year, and here's what they had to say.
3G is such a beneficial surface for clubs, whether they're smaller grassroots clubs or professional clubs. It's a tremendous business model. It can help clubs in loads of different ways, and it can bring supporters and communities back into football clubs.
I remember 3 years ago, Bruce, our chairman, I don't think we had a game for 7 weeks because the pitch was being called off every single time, and it got to the point in the end where, for such a fantastically well-run club as Sutton is, even we were struggling for cash flow.
There's so many games that get called off due to bad weather. With 3G pitches, that happens a lot less frequently. When there's bad weather, the games are much more likely to still go ahead. Waterlogging, freezing, snow, different conditions, it can survive, and that is massive for non-league football clubs. Going back to the money earner point, these teams can rent these pitches out to other teams in the local area, also for multiple sports. They can be played on a 3G pitch. Pitches can be marked up permanently to host multiple different sports. Now the benefit of this is that these facilities can be used as a real community facility. Lots of youth teams, lots of disabled teams, girls teams, even the first team training. It can be used for so many different things, used throughout the week, used as a constant money earner.
We won't be prepared to stop 40 of our youth teams from playing here. Now we've got 3 or 4 ladies teams, we've got 2 fantastic disabled teams that are playing here as well, and it's an inclusive facility. And whilst the first team's very important, I think the bigger part of the football clubs has become more important.
Is if you've got a training ground that you pay for, you have to rent someone else's pitches to use for your community teams and your youth teams, then you can just do it all on your 3G pitch.
There's many teams in League 2 that are drowning in debt as well. That's the other thing. And if they had the same facility as ourselves, Maidstone and now Bromley have got, it would actually mean they haven't got to look after one person financially propping up the club, and when that person leaves, the clubs always find it very hard financially to keep going. And this is a business model that works.
This for me is a really, really valid point. When a financial backer leaves a club, which happens a lot, it happens a lot at non-league level when people pump money into a club and then decide to leave because they either can't afford to stay or they just get bored, and you know, they're leaving absolutely no legacy, they're putting the club into debt. Whereas if they're paying their money to build a 3G pitch, it's a facility that can be used to gain money throughout the next few seasons. And that also ties into my next point, which is that it costs a lot less to sustain than a grass pitch does. A lot less work needs to be done to it. 3G pitches are actually in use in a lot of different countries around Europe in the first or second professional league. Holland, for example, Scotland as well. A lot of them have a lot of 3G pitches at the top end of their game.
Young people now are brought up playing on this surface as well. If it's good enough for Celtic and Rangers to be playing on every other week, then it's got to be good enough for League Two and League One.
Virtually every other footballing nation in Europe allows 3G at first or second professional division level. Why is England always there on its own, doing things differently, and in this case not doing things any better?
So it's not all positive, there are obviously some negatives. The first one, and for me the big one, is the actual cost of implementing a 3G pitch. It can cost upwards of about £500,000, which is money that a lot of non-league clubs just don't have. Another negative is what I spoke about earlier. If you're going to get to the Football League, then you could end up being relegated down to the National League South, because you won't be allowed into the Football League unless the rules do change. But overall, the main thing that makes me a bit sceptical of 3G pitches is that it just isn't grass. It's synthetic, it's not grass. And football for me is a grass sport, and I'm old-fashioned and traditional like that. Grass is what I think football should be played on. I've got no problem with training happening on 3G pitches, but for me, grass pitches, old-fashioned, call me old-fashioned, but that's just my opinion.
You ask opposition players and they actually enjoy playing on it.
Some negatives that a lot of people seem to bring up is the increased injury risk and the cancer risk. Now, the injury risk, it's been notorious in the past that 3G surfaces can inflict knee injuries in particular.
And I've got to say that our injuries with an older squad as well have been next to none.
And over in Holland there was a study done that suggested that the rubber crumb involved in 3G pitches could be linked to certain types of cancer, although there is no concrete evidence for this being the case. But coming back over to England, there is likely to be a vote in June 2018 where the Football League will decide whether they're going to allow teams with 3G pitches in. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below whether you think that 3G pitches should be allowed in the Football League. But because this vote isn't happening until after the season is finished, then do Sutton and Bromley risk trying to get promotion on the off chance that they might be allowed into the Football League? It's a really big risk, and it is dangerous to the future of their football clubs. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to hit that like button and subscribe to see more non-league football content. And yeah, hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.